Good morning and welcome to the 13th Athletic Hall of Fame for Western Oregon University. I'm Randy Lydum, Director of Athletics, and also Class of 2007 Hall of Fame inductee. Today we are here to recognize and honor 3 individuals and their contributions, dedication, and accomplishments that have earned them the distinct honor of being inducted into our Athletic Hall of Fame. After an extended break from hosting this special ceremony, we are pleased to get back on schedule with our yearly program that recognizes our former athletes and coaches and their tremendous contributions to OCE, WASC, and WOOT.
Our first inductee is Gail Davis, a 2-sport athlete competing in both football and wrestling during his career at Oregon College of Education. A 4-time letter winner in both sports. He led his team to a 6th-place finish at the NAIA Wrestling Championships in 1972. As a 3-year starter on the football team, Davis earned All-American status his senior season, in addition to NAIA District 1A Scholar Athlete accolades. Following his playing career, Davis later became a wrestling coach and official, having officiated for over 30 years. He became part of the first father-son duo to be elected to the Oregon Wrestling Hall of Fame after he was inducted in 2007. His father, Gail Davis, was a 2004 Hall of Fame inductee. During his nearly 50-year high school coaching career, Davis taught and coached at Astoria, North Marion, Grant, Redmond, and Culver, where he led the football team to a 2A state championship and earned Coach of the Year in 2007. In 2019, Davis was named to the Oregon Rural Health Hero of the Year for his work connecting students to job shadowing opportunities in rural healthcare settings. The Davis family football legacy lives on as his grandson, Blake, is a member of the current Wolves team. It is truly an honor to forever enshrine Gail Davis into the Western Oregon University Athletics Hall of Fame.
Thank you very much. I have a wide range of emotions on something like this. I feel honored, I feel grateful, and somewhat humbled for this whole experience. This means a lot to me, and I think the main reason it does is because this place means a lot. This college is a unique place. It kind of has a family feel to it, and my family is incredibly connected to this school. First of all, I met the love of my life here. And my wife and I, Maureen, met here in college and then were married shortly after I got out. Wait a minute, while I was still in. She was a year ahead of me. And we just celebrated our 50th wedding anniversary this last summer, so that's huge. The football program and the Davis family is intertwined. I'm the second in line of 4 generations in a row that have played here. My dad and my uncle, some of you guys know, have heard the name anyway, Mouse Davis, longtime coach in high school, college, and NFL. My dad, Mouse, and their brother, Don, all played here back in the late 40s, early 50s. Then I came here in, fall of 1968 and played for 68 through 72. My brother-in-law, Bob Dalter, came in right after I finished, so we were kind of in that same era during the kind of a growth period for the program. And then my son, Eric, played here as a quarterback Eric was here during the late 90s. Kind of an interesting story on that. My dad had developed a terminal cancer, and he was playing, he was one of those scholarship kids, was playing at Boise State University. And then when my dad got sick, he went into Pokey Allen, who was his coach at Boise State, and told him, I need to go play for my grandfather. And he gave up the scholarship there and came here to play. And so my dad could watch him. He was in a position where he couldn't go travel. Kind of a neat story. And then his son Blake is now playing here. So we have 4 generations that have been football players at this university in a row, which is, I don't know if it's ever been done before, but it's unusual, so it's a neat deal. I'm not going to lie, I'm glad I played when I did. I was a 210-pound offensive guard, and so now I came back when my son was playing, and I wander around along the bench and everything. They're 310, and so everything's relative to when you were here and when you played and all that kind of stuff. But it has changed a lot, and so it was a great experience, one of the best experiences of my life. I love the sport of football, and like I said, and I was a two-sport athlete. My dad told me when I was in high school, he said, "You want to be a good football player, you wrestle." And so I did. I picked it up and wasn't too bad at it, so I kind of stuck with it. And then when I came here, my dad was actually the offensive coordinator, line coach on the football program, but he was also the wrestling coach. So I wrestled for him. I did two sports for 4 years, and being an offensive lineman and a wrestler, you got to question one's intelligence a little bit, but you got to embrace the grind, and that's, I think, what I did. Because it's a grind. Being a lineman is kind of a grind. You just got to kind of keep getting better and work at it, play hard. Wrestling is definitely a grind. It's the hardest thing I've ever done athletically, without question. Just in terms of just difficulty. It's hard on you emotionally. It's hard on you physically, and it's one of those things that, like, I'd get done with football season and come out fairly injury-free, whatever it is. Going to wrestling, I thought I was in pretty good shape. No, not quite. And then within a week, every joint in your body hurt. It is a difficult sport. I have incredible respect for wrestlers, and my dad did too. So they're kind of a unique animal. We're wired a little different, I will admit that. But it's a sport that's really, I love playing football. I respected myself for being a wrestler, if that makes any sense to you, because it's a tough thing to do. Kind of unique for me is I have two sons. My oldest son, Chris, is the head wrestling coach at Redmond High School, and he's got a very good program, has done a tremendous job there. They were 4th in the state this year. And then my youngest son, Eric, who some of you guys know, or the one that played here, is the head football coach at Pendleton High School. They're 6-1 right now and playing well. So I get my fix through them, and it's kind of a neat experience for me. And then in closing, I'm kind of talking to the young kids here, the young people. There's a lot of young people in this room. I'm 72 years of age, and I still work in a high school. I work, and I'm a part-time guy, but I'm a career and college counselor for high school kids. What I do is I take every senior and I try to elevate them. I try to get them so they do something where they're moving forward and moving up in life. Kids need help. So what I'm challenging you guys is make a difference. When you go out and graduate out of this building or out of this university, go make a difference somewhere. Try to help elevate the human experience. There's a lot of people that, whether they're young people or older people, a lot of people need help. Just try to get yourself involved in something that's going to make you feel good about what you're doing and make other people feel good about where they're at. Again, thanks for everything. I really appreciate this opportunity, or this honor, I guess, best way of putting it. I will cherish this the rest of my life. Thank you very much.
Our next inductee is Coach Duke Iverson. Duke was the head football coach at Western Oregon on 2 different occasions, from 1985 through 1987 and 2001 through 2004. Throughout his first run with the Wolves, Iverson posted a pair of strong seasons, going 8-2 in 1985 and 7-2 in 1986. The 1985 squad was only the 3rd team in college history to make the NAIA playoffs. Air Wolf led the nation in scoring offense and rushing defense and finished the year ranked 8th in NAIA Division I. Coach Iverson then went on to coach at Western Colorado for 12 seasons, picking up 79 wins before returning for his final 3 seasons at WU and adding 10 more wins during that time. Iverson helped Western Colorado reach the postseason on 4 occasions, including 3 trips to the NCAA playoffs. Throughout his 21-year head coaching career, he went 126, 84, and 3. Iverson tallied 10 seasons winning at least 7 games in a season and reached a high of 10 wins in 1991. He collected 8 conference championships and was named the NAIA Division I Coach of the Year in 1991 and RMAC Coach of the Year twice in 1996 and 97. Upon retirement from collegiate coaching, Coach Iverson assisted at Central High School while also traveling the world with his wife, Rita. It is truly an honor to forever enshrine Duke Iverson into the Western Oregon University Athletics Hall of Fame. Shane Hedrick will accept this honor and speak on Duke's behalf.
Well, it's quite a privilege for me to be here to speak on Duke's behalf, and I just share a little history with you. I've been a Wolf a long time. Grew up in this community. I watched the new PE building go up in 1971. I was a ball boy for Gail Davis in 1971, so it goes back a long ways, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. Duke arrived here in the spring of 1985. The football program was, it was kind of on the downhill of what Bill MacArthur had built over all those years and what Gail Davis had done, and it needed an upkick, and it got it. But it got some good support from those previous coaches, and I know Gail was always around, and I'd played under Gail, and I have a unique story for his family. He was an amazing coach, and I was a running back, and Coach Davis, one day after a game, he said, "Hey, I want you to meet you over by the old PE building, which is up here." And I don't know, I got lucky. I picked up a block that I wasn't supposed to get. And if you remember Coach after a victory, he had these old cigars with him, Coach Davis. And he lit that old cigar up, and he took a big puff, and he said, "Here." I thought, "God, do I got to put my mouth on that now?" And he said, "You do it." So the Davis family, I think I might be related to you somehow now because the DNA is there. So. Anyway, I had the privilege of playing for both of them, but let me get back to Duke. They mentioned in his bio there that in 1985, Western Oregon averaged 39 points a game. And one of his, cohorts in that group there, and I want to mention him too, is John Kerry's in the back, and he was coaching on that team that year, and they had one hellacious defense too. So it was a very good football team. Duke, when he got here, he won the team over. And the announcer mentioned earlier that Duke had been here on 2 different occasions. And I've been a coach a long time. I don't know of any other collegiate coach in the country that was so popular with his athletes that on 2 different occasions, the universities asked him to come back and be a head coach again. That just doesn't happen very often. And that happened with Duke at Western State College, and it happened here at our beloved university, Western Oregon University. Duke was a Renaissance man. And if you knew Duke, you know what that means. Duke was an author. He wrote 2 books, one on tree rot, which is like, you got to understand, tree rot. And honestly, folks, it was like that thick. If you know Duke, it made sense. He wrote another on snow survival. And you're like, well, there were times we wish he didn't survive in the snow. It was like, Duke, go in the snow, and we'll come get you. But he was a coach. He was a doctor. He was a professor. He was a teacher. He was a leader. He was a husband. He was a father, and he's a grandfather. Today, in the audience, is Rita Iverson. I'd like her to stand, please. His daughter, Carla. His son-in-law, Mike, and his grandson, Connor. Duke was a man that held no grudges. Now, as a coach, you run across a lot of different people. I mean, you know, they love you when you win, they hate you when you lose, and, you know, if your son or daughter, you know, gets to be, you know, up there, then you're the best coach, and if they're not up there, then you're the blame. And Duke never held grudges on anybody. I mean, literally, he could work with anybody. He could talk to anybody. I mean, Wayne Hammersley, the library named after Wayne and Lynn, he could talk to him. Peter Courtney, if you know Peter Courtney, president of the Oregon State Senate, he could talk to him. He could talk to the professors, and he could do it. He was an intellect, and he was just an amazing person that could communicate with so many different people. The best day of Duke's life would be when he could talk to his former players. That made his day. February 11th of this year, when Duke passed, he was sitting at his computer at a morning. This is what he did every morning. He would read Football Scoop, and he would find out what's going on in the football world. And he went just like he was supposed to go. And I don't want this to be hard feelings for his family or his wife, but there's a way God wants us to go, and Duke went that way. He just put his chin on his chest. God took him right there in front of his computer, doing what he was wanting to do, okay? And when I think about that, it lifts all that pain off my heart, because I was very close to Duke. I played for him. I went to Colorado and coached for him under his team there that he won his Coach of the Year. And then when I came back to Oregon, he came to Central High School and coached with me there. And I had the privilege of also having a son go to Boise State and play quarterback, and Duke was his coach in high school. Now, if you've ever coached your son, which I don't recommend you do, Duke was that coach, and I am forever grateful for what Duke has done. But again, I want to talk about his special relationship with his players. Duke would come back here and be on the sideline here, and you knew where Duke was because there would be a crowd around him. And he wanted to know about his players. He wanted to know about their families. He wanted to know what they're doing, how they were doing, what they were doing. That was important to Duke. In closing, I want to say this. There are two people in my life at Western Oregon that made an impact and still do today. Gail Davis was one, and Duke Iverson is the other. And they both are going, well, Gail went in 2004 with his brother Mouse. His son's going in today, and I'm thinking, holy smokes, gang. I'm going to put this out there, Randy, so you can forgive me, and I wish the president were here and the uppers to be. We have a building over here I mentioned earlier. In the last quarter century, they've built and named over a dozen buildings here. 1971, they built what's called the new PE. Since then, 2011, they built the Peter Courtney Physical Fitness Center over here, and we still have a building over here with a sign that says New PE on it. So I think you know where I'm going. There's probably three names I would see on that building. One, the first one I thought of was John Kerry, but I don't want John going anywhere soon, so John, you keep sitting there, okay? But if that building said Davis, Iverson, physical education, I'd be okay with that. And I think that Davis name would be a great name to have on there too. So on behalf of the Iverson family and on behalf of Duke, thank you very much. And to everybody that knew Duke, what a special person he was. So thank you.
Our next inductee is Katie Torland Hine. Katie put together an impressive career over her 3-year span at Western Oregon University during the early NCAA Division II era from 2007 to 2010. She tallied 1,257 points in 82 games, holding a 15.3 points per game average. In addition, Torland connected on 400 field goals, 113 three-pointers, 344 free throws, grabbed 561 rebounds, dished out 124 assists, and had 120 steals. She averaged in double figures in scoring in all 3 seasons and finished her career shooting over 41% from the field, 37% from long range, and 82% at the foul line. Torland was named to the All-Great Northwest Athletic Conference first team twice named women's basketball's Player of the Year her junior and senior seasons, and was selected to 7 straight all-tournament teams. She later joined the WU coaching staff following her playing career. Since 2000, Torland ranks in the top 10 in program history in multiple categories, including points, second, scoring average, first, field goals made, third, three-point field goals made, tied for third, three-point field goal percentage, second, free throws made, first, rebounds, third, rebounding average, fifth, defensive rebounds, third, and offensive rebounds, sixth. Katie Hine teaches physical education and weight training at Cascade High School. It is truly an honor to forever enshrine Katie Torland Hine into the Western Oregon University Athletics Hall of Fame.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here today. I want to start off by saying how honored I am to be selected for this induction. So many talented athletes, coaches, and teams have represented this school, and to be selected as part of that is very humbling. Growing up, I always sort of thought and hoped that I would come to Western and play basketball because my mom did. I thought it would be so cool to follow in her footsteps. She was and always has been my biggest supporter. She rebounded more shots for me than I could probably even count. She drove me all over the Pacific Northwest for practices and games in multiple sports, as well as coached many of those teams. The extra time I got to spend with my mom in the car talking about life and listening to Norah Jones on repeat is something I'll treasure forever. I loved everything about my high school years, and sports were the focal point. I played volleyball, basketball, softball, and track. In basketball, I was coached by one of the very best, Alice Haroff, who also played basketball here at Western with my mom. Coach Haroff's type A personality, combined with her competitive spirit, made for a very memorable time in my life that included things like holiday parties, secret pregame rituals, community service, insanely long bus trips, and the best of all, a state championship my senior year, going 30-0. When it came time to decide where I'd go to college, Western Oregon was going through a head coaching change with women's basketball and not doing a ton of recruiting. So I signed with the University of Nebraska-Kearney. And although I don't regret going there because I made some incredible lifelong friendships, I did realize about halfway through my freshman year that I wanted to be somewhere closer to home. That's when I got in touch with the new head coach at Western, Greg Bruce, and officially became a Wolf. I remember having many discussions with Coach Bruce about where the program was and the direction we hoped the program would go. He named me co-captain of the team my sophomore year, and he told me that I was going to be the one to lead that change with my leadership on and off the court. I loved that he had such confidence in me and trusted that I would always do my best to represent the team and the school well. Our relationship had a few hiccups here and there, but by the end of my playing career, I had become pretty close with the whole Bruce family, and I appreciate all of their efforts to support me academically, athletically, and in my personal life. My career at Western Oregon was at times challenging and exhausting, but more importantly, it was rewarding and unforgettable. We didn't have exceptional team records and always finished towards the middle of the pack in the GNAC, but I really loved being here. Western Oregon gave me the opportunity to travel to places like Alaska, San Francisco, Disneyland, and even to Argentina to compete against international competition. This place introduced me to teammates like Jess Goss, who was my roommate for 3 years, Sarah Zoller, Danielle Belando, and many more. I also had several incredible professors like the late Dr. H. He prided himself in never missing a home men or women's basketball game and was a constant source of feedback, mostly positive, in my basketball game and academics. One of my very favorite college basketball memories was from my senior year. We were playing at home against the #1 ranked team in the country, the University of Alaska Anchorage. They were huge, they were fast, they were intimidating, and we were the definite underdogs. But we competed with them from start to finish. We played the best team game that I could remember offensively and defensively. They ended up beating us 62-60, but there was nothing but celebration and cheers in our locker room afterwards. When I graduated, Coach Bruce gave me a bunch of game films from my time here at Western, and once in a while I'll sit down and watch one and realize how much I miss lacing up those smelly sneakers and competing. It seems like just yesterday. I have a deep gratitude to this school for funding my education, in which I received my bachelor's degree in exercise science pre-education and my master's in teaching. Western Oregon is also to thank for introducing me to my husband of 8 years, Tim, during our sophomore year of college. I've been fortunate enough to have coached on and off for the last 9 years with Mark Stevens at Cascade High School, where I also teach physical education. I so look forward to the day my 2 sons, Jackson and Gus, can start playing this game. At least I hope they do. And hey, maybe they'll want to follow in their mom's footsteps. Thank you so much to my family and my friends who are in attendance here today, as well as the many others who are not, but were a huge part of my basketball journey. I've been extremely blessed in my life to have such an incredible support system of friends since elementary school, coaches, parents, amazing parents, grandparents, and extended family who have cheered me on since day one. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. And lastly, thank you to Western Oregon University for helping shape me into the person I am today, and for this incredible honor. I am truly grateful. Oh, that was awesome. I teared up each time. Our inductees will be recognized again this afternoon between the first and second quarters of our football game. So please, let's give them one more round of appreciation. As we conclude this ceremony, I would like to extend a special thank you to our Hall of Fame founder, Jack Frondiner, and to our selection committee, Emily LaFawn, Holly Howard Carpenter, and Kellen Walker. And I would also like to recognize in the back our interim president, Jay Kenton, is here. I think some of you met him at breakfast. Jay, thank you. And just thank you so much for being here today. Go Wolves!